All right. Well, I'm gonna go to our next topic. I think Rocco's got some company.
Yeah.
Our next topic is gonna be favorite. So, Civil War is coming out. Sorry, Civil War is coming out this week. And in honor of that, I wanted to talk about our favorite superhero movies thus far. Because a lot of people are saying that Civil War is going to be like the Marvel movie moving forward, and is going to be everyone's new favorite superhero movie. So before that takes over, I wanted to give us a chance to talk about what our favorite superhero movies are and why.
Okay. Okay. So what is yours, Clay?
I gotta say that my favorite superhero movie would have to be The Dark Knight. And I talked about this a little bit, like I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago. The Dark Knight, and the reason why I think The Dark Knight is my favorite superhero movie is because I think it captures Batman, but not only Batman, but his supporting cast and his villains in like some of the best ways, and through dialogue and actions and plot. But also to that note of plot, it's also one of the best well-written just movies in general. Like
Yeah.
they took like a crime drama, which is what Batman's about, and they wrapped the superhero paper around it, and it worked so well. You had Heath Ledger, which is arguably one of the best interpretations of Joker yet, telling a great story of him versus Batman, and having Batman like just like there's just so many moments in that movie that are burned into my memory, like when Batman and Joker first meet. And like think about the way they first meet is inside a police station.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because it just adds so much tension. If Batman and Joker were to meet on the street, there's so many things that can happen. There's nobody like stopping them. They would just kind of like it would be kind of it would be so open ended. But within the constraints of a police station, in an interrogation room, not only is it physically limiting, right, and having physical walls, but he's in a police station, and you as an audience member know he can't really go as far as he wants to go. He also can't
Right,
go based on
exactly.
his code, and Joker can't really go. So you have this interaction with all these limitations, and there's just so much anxiety and tension that's added to that moment as an audience member that is equating to the amount of anxiety and tension that you think Batman might have, and
Yeah.
anger because of what this guy's been doing. And so then what proceeds is some of the best dialogue between a villain and a hero that I've seen on screen. And it's phenomenal.
I
Batman
love that
loses
movie,
it
to
and
be
he
honest,
beats the
man.
shit out of him, and
Right.
Joker doesn't care. He laughs. Like that's to a T their character. And then what follows it is like an amazing choose your own adventure. Like, who are you gonna save? Are you gonna save the dude that's gonna help you like long term, like fix Gotham, or are you gonna save a love interest? And even though they make their choice, the choice is swapped. The Joker gets the best of him, and he loses both. You know what I mean? Like, he loses both. He does not win in this scenario, and it's really great because he gets the one up on Batman. And there's just so much more great things to say about that movie, but it's certainly like my favorite. There's just so many great innovations. Like, everything I said in addition, they finally got a great Batman suit that allowed it full mobility. Like, that was interesting.
Yeah.
They added to the Batmobile. They've
I like this story too as well, where he was learning how all his fighting and all.
yeah.
They got to expose that and show that, like,
They-
his like ninja school.
Yeah, and they did multiple like they had Scarecrow have a cameo. Like, that felt really great. Like, they did a lot of things really well.
They did.
It was so good, dude. And then when Heath Ledger meets all the other gangsters, and he's like, "I want to see a magic trick," and you're like, "Oh, what the?" And then you know what I mean? He's like, "I'm gonna make this pencil disappear." He's like, "Bam!" Like, you're like, "What the fuck?" Like, that is exactly what like Joker's about. Like, he has this like amazing balance of like seriousness and with joking, and then just like and just insanity, right? Like, all that rolled up in one is just beautifully executed, and it's why I can't stand the Batman v Superman, because none of those elements are as elegantly wrapped up and done so efficiently in something like one scene, possibly multiple like lines of dialogue of, do you want to see a magic trick? Like, there's not real one moment that fully captures who the characters are in Batman v Superman, whereas Dark Knight, that's all you get. It's just a moment after moment of perfectly capturing these characters. It's so good.
Who was it that told us that it was like the first cut for Batman Superman was 4 hours long?
Might have been me. I know I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like that. What do you think? Do you think though, if that had came out or as two movies, that were two-hour movies, it would have done it more justice? You think?
They would
Or
have
not?
a lot more time to develop a lot of the stuff that
Yeah.
they were trying to do. So possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
You wouldn't have that crazy turn in the
Right.
middle of it.
I mean,
which made no
from what it
sense.
sounds like, and I haven't seen it, it's just you can't compare writing wise, like
And-
the two.
You can't.
And I
No.
think they tried to do something similar to like the police station scene when they have Batman and Superman in their normal attire and everything at the party and they first meet, and the guy introduced them and so Bruce Wayne and everything. So I think they tried to capture it there, but I think they failed miserably.
Yeah,
It
because
just didn't.
at the end of the day, they give you so much like subplot and stuff, like threads that are starting, but they never close the loops on it. For instance, like for Clark to hear Bruce Wayne talking, like that is supposed to be enough for him to assume that Bruce Wayne is now Batman. They don't ever go back to that. They don't ever harp on that.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
they just have to let you assume that you know this, and then you're off to the races. And then like an hour later, he's like, yeah, well, Bruce, blah blah, and like Batman doesn't have a reaction to it. It's like they've had this off-screen conversation already that they know each other's identity, and we're just supposed to accept that fact. Like it's so many things like that are jarring in this movie.
But definitely, I agree with you, Clay, on your choice. But it seems like
Yeah,
I
that's like
always go back though to one of my favorite movies. Was I can't remember which Batman it was, but it was with Danny DeVito being Penguin.
Yeah,
'Cause I
Batman
could watch
Returns.
that. Yeah, Returns. I could watch that movie like 100 times over and never
Yeah,
get
man.
bored. Yeah, so that was always one of my favorite, probably superhero movies.
Dude, you had
Okay, so
Catwoman,
you guys-
you had Penguin.
You guys
Yeah.
are probably
Tim
gonna
Burton.
call me like I don't know, whatever you call me, fine. But Deadpool is like one of my favorite.
Oh,
right now.
cool.
See, I
Like-
haven't seen it yet, and I think that might be mine if I watch.
And you know what? It's like for feeling like I'm big on comedy. I love comedy movies. Whenever I want to watch a movie, usually I'm always choosing a comedy because what I look at is I want to be laughing. I want to be entertained, and where it's laughter because I feel like
Right.
that makes me leave anything feeling good. Like I can watch something like Narcos, which is really anxiety filled, really good action story, but it's full of anxiety where I leave that feeling anxious. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I love watching comedies, and Deadpool for me felt like it was like non-stop delivered this sarcastic humor that I love to get. Not to mention that Ryan Reynolds is like one of my man crushes.
Yeah.
I was like, and he just
Gotta see him in
delivering-
tight tights.
Yes, exactly. But he's delivering the comedic reel perfectly, tied with like lots of action that was, it came off like Deadpool. Realistically, I feel like they did a really good job, like creating that character and the development they had showed within it. I think that honestly, that was one of my favorite, superhero movies right now. And although Dark Knight is up there with it, because don't get me wrong, hands down, that's a fucking great film. But like, I love Deadpool right now compared to all the other more modern stuff that I'm seeing, like that's coming around, like the Captain Americas, the Marvel movies. Like I have, it's okay right now. Some of them were like terrible, some of them were good, but I think like Deadpool refreshed it for me.
It was refreshing is a key word there. It's new. It's something different that we haven't seen before in a superhero genre, and that's what makes it so special. And Deadpool in itself, like that embodies Deadpool. Deadpool was a hero, an anti-hero that was something we have not seen before. Of someone breaking the fourth wall and being so funny and being so, crass and like making funny like crazy.
I mean, like think about the
jokes
one where they're just like he comes out, he's goes to the bar and he's wearing the hoodie and he takes it off and they're talking about his skin and the way it looks.
You look
Like,
like
that
an
whole
avocado
dialogue
had sex with
back
an
and
over
forth,
avocado. Like, dude, that's brilliant.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like this dialogue just like tied into a serious situation. You know what I mean? That's the cool thing about it is that like he looks like a freaking nightmare. He looks like Freddy Krueger. He looks terrible. Where you could be sitting there like, and we could be focusing on that. They're just cracking jokes about it back and forth. That's just like breaking that, that barrier of that anxious feeling with the comedy. That comedy relief, which was I feel like it was done really well balanced. It wasn't like over the top. It wasn't, it wasn't like there wasn't enough of it happening. It was perfect, the amount, and
Yeah.
it happened often. You know what I mean?
It's-
I was like, oh, it's good.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
so fun to see where that movie goes. That movie had such a low budget and was so
Yeah.
just like not
Oh,
supported.
did it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh.
and now that it's one of the highest grossing Fox movies of all
Yeah.
time, just superhero movies of all time, I think it's like top third. It's gonna have just an insane budget, and I'm very curious what they're gonna do with Deadpool 2.
See, the other thing about that too is it's like when I think about superhero movies, I don't think about comedy, right? Like when I think about superhero movies, I only think about action.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind
a
of
really
like
good point.
comedic relief that I get is like Tony Stark when he cracks a little joke here or
Here
there.
and
or
there,
something.
yeah.
But that's it. The rest of it's just action, seriousness, do this, do that, And don't get me wrong, they're great and stuff like that. But that's why I think because comedy plays so well, and to me, that Deadpool was that for choosing a superhero movie. It was just like, whoa! It felt like you were watching like a comedy / action, like which is not. You don't get ones that are honestly that good nowadays. Like you get like the 21 Jump Streets and the things like that are comedy and action tied together, but not.
Yeah.
You're so right, and that makes such a good point. And because that's really what a Deadpool movie should be. It should be a comedy. And for Deadpool 2, they're talking about bringing Cable on, who they could do a 48 Hours style buddy cop movie of like one dude's real goofy and crazy, the other guy's real serious and like stern, like, and that would just be hysterical.
Yeah.
That would be great. They should totally do just a buddy cop comedy movie with those two, and I would eat that up for days.
Did you guys like Ant-Man?
I thought it was
Didn't see
okay.
that
I thought it
either.
was a poor heist movie. It was supposed to be
Yeah.
a heist movie, and I got really excited about that because I love Ocean's 10, Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
But
That wasn't done that well with that when it came to that. No.
I was really disappointed with the way they executed the heist. Like, I wanted to see some very inventive ways of them
Right.
getting things done, and like it was just like, well, he gets really small, and it's like, okay, well, I understand that, but like, that's it.
Yeah,
And then like the
I
one guy
understand.
just knocks out a security guard, and that's it. I was like, that's your
Yeah.
heist? Come on, give me like.
Yeah,
you
I
know what
gotcha.
mean?
Yeah. I was kind of a little stoked because I was like, oh, the Wasp is coming in, and then he had his little fight with the Falcon, which was cool, but like I did expect more too to happen on the heist situation, which was like supposed to be the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what his name is, but I felt like he played a pretty good role.
Paul
That was another
Rudd.
one. What was his name?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. That was another one where he was trying to tie in the comedy with the action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't. I think it did pretty good too. Like
Yeah.
it was like, it wasn't Deadpool by any means, but still.
Yeah, it was Deadpool's a rated R comedy. Ant-Man's a heist movie with PG-13 comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. That's a good way to identify it.
But like even so, while that movie was funny, I still remember more. I remember laughing a little bit more during an Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 movie.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like the characters just were really
Yeah.
fun. Like Ant-Man,
Yeah,
just
they
while
were.
being funny, it didn't have a lasting impression. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I think that's something they could improve upon.
You know what's funny is when you keep talking about Ocean's 11 and everything, it reminds me of one of the little, I guess, bloopers that they've done where it's still in the movie, but when they change something in the background and they don't realize it, there's one part where Brad Pitt, he's standing there with a like a shrimp cocktail in his hand, and it's like in this like glass, and then like it keeps doing these different pans, and it's changing from a glass to a plate, like in 3 different ones. It's like, wait, what the fuck is he actually supposed to be holding? So yeah, because they
I like it
screwed
when you
that
can
up.
catch those things in movies.
Are they
you
doing
know?
that on purpose?
No. It was a like a mix up, like they
Wow.
screwed up. Yeah, and no one caught it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty funny if you watch it. Like you can Google it and you'll see he's
I
like
forget-
standing in this lobby, and it just keeps switching back from a plate to like a cup or a bowl.
I forget what the term is to classify that person. It's the person's
Continuity.
job. Continuity, continuity artist or something like
Yeah.
that. Call it.
Yeah.
All they do is just look for things like that in the movie.
That's their
and
job,
make
is
sure
to
that
make
it
sure things
syncs
are
up.
consistent.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
always, and it's like, I mean, that
tough
guy
job, man.
failed. Whoever did Ocean's 11
Exactly.
failed
It's like,
then.
oh shit.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, anything
So
else?
the
about-
new Civil War, I'm not gonna lie, I
Yeah.
haven't been like.
Yeah, I've been keeping
I've
up.
heard a few things here and there. I haven't even seen the trailer, to be truthful. I think like I think the concept's good. I've been kind of tired of the whole Captain Marvel and Captain America and I don't know, the whole Justice League going on. Or not Justice,
two different stuff.
not Justice League.
Avengers.
Avengers?
Avengers,
Damn, I
yeah.
was like trying to think of the name.
Well, look,
the Avengers story going on
We
right
get
now.
to
I'm
see
kinda tired of it.
a couple new heroes in Black Panther,
Okay.
and Spider-Man. This is the first time we get to see Spider-Man, and everybody's
okay.
saying, like, Marvel Spider-Man, and everybody's saying this is the Spider-Man that we've been waiting for. He's just
Okay.
really well done, and so that excites me. Also, the Russo brothers are responsible for The Winter Soldier. They wrote that
Okay.
movie and directed that movie, and Winter Soldier is one of the best Marvel movies to date. So
Yeah.
seeing the Russo brothers take on, Civil War, I think is a lot. I want to see what they do. What's their next step with that?
Yeah.
So that interests me as well.
Gotcha. I don't know. Like I was saying, the Avengers, that whole series. I mean, also it might be just that I'm like reading it nonstop too for my son.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, come on, I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
people
know.
are definitely getting superhero fatigue for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely am. I mean, and I wanted to see Deadpool pull really bad, but that was
Deadpool
one.
and like the Batman stuff like that.
Right.
That's like we were saying, refreshing. Like for me, that is refreshing because it kind of pulls away from those guys. And or a standalone Spider-Man that was actually really really good. That'd be
Yeah.
cool too as well.
Yeah, they're working on that.
Well,
Or Venom. Like a Venom. Yeah,
They're
exactly.
also working on that, and I don't know how that's gonna work because I don't think it's with Marvel, but we'll see.
Okay, gotcha.
These limitations, and there's just so much anxiety and tension that's added to that moment as an audience member that is equating to the amount of anxiety and tension that you think Batman might have, and
Yeah.
anger because of what this guy's been doing. And so then what proceeds is some of the best dialogue between a villain and a hero that I've seen on screen. And it's phenomenal. Batman
I love that
loses
movie,
it
to
and
be
he
honest,
beats the
man.
shit out of him. And
Right.
Joker doesn't care. He laughs. Like that's to a T their character. And then what follows it is like an amazing choose your own. It's also one of the best well-written just movies in general. Like
Yeah.
they took like a crime drama, which is what Batman's about, and they wrapped the superhero paper around it, and it worked so well. You had Heath Ledger, which is arguably one of the best interpretations of Joker yet, telling a great story of him versus Batman, and having Batman like there's just so many moments in that movie that are burned into my memory, like when Batman and Joker first meet. And like think about the way they first meet is inside a police. I wanted to give us a chance to talk about what our favorite superhero movies are and why.
okay. So what is yours, Clay?
I gotta say that my favorite superhero movie would have to be The Dark Knight. And I talked about this a little bit, like I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago. The Dark Knight, and the reason why I think The Dark Knight is my favorite superhero movie is because I think it captures Batman, but not only Batman, but his supporting cast and his villains in like some of the best ways, and through dialogue and actions and plot. But also to that note of plot, station, and it's so interesting because it just adds so much tension. If Batman and Joker were to meet on the street, there's so many things that can happen. There's nobody like stopping them. They would just kind of like it would be kind of it would be so open ended. But within the constraints of a police station, in an interrogation room, not only is it physically limiting, right, and having physical walls, but he's in a police station, and you as an audience member know he can't really go as far as he wants to go. He also can't
Right.
go based on
Exactly.
his code, and Joker can't really go. So you have this interaction with all these. All right, well, I'm going to go to our next topic. I think Rocco's got some company.
Yeah.
Our next topic is going to be favorite. So, Civil War is coming out. Civil War is coming out this week. And in honor of that, I wanted to talk about our favorite superhero movies thus far. Because a lot of people are saying that Civil War is going to be like the Marvel movie moving forward, and is going to be everyone's new favorite superhero movie. So before that takes over,